Hi everyone, my name is Audrey and welcome to my new knitting channel. I am so excited to be here and I hope that you are as well. So as you can tell by the title, this is going to be a knitting podcast. This is my first official knitting podcast on this channel. So go ahead and grab yourself something cozy, maybe some iced coffee like I'm drinking, some hot tea, or maybe put this video on while you are doing dishes or household chores, which is something that I do primarily when I consume YouTube videos. So let me go ahead and just kind of give you a brief introduction of who I am and what you can expect from this channel. So as I said, my name is Audrey and I am a kind of beginner knitter. I started knitting back in, I believe, January or February of this year. I have been a crocheter and I've been crocheting for quite a few years, but knitting is kind of new to me and it is something that I am just head over heels in love with. If I sound a little bit nasally, it's because I am recovering from a cold and unfortunately I gave it to my daughter. I have a 9-month-old daughter and poor thing she's so sick. So I actually just put her down for a nap. I have her on the monitor right in front of me so I can keep an eye on her. So I'm hoping that she sleeps. She hasn't slept at all this morning. She has just been kind of snuggling on me, which, you know, it's sad that she's sick, but I'm loving the extra snuggles, of course. But yeah, so she's taking a nap and I thought, what better time to sit down and just start this channel and talk all about knitting. I'm going to try to keep this podcast as unedited as I can, kind of what you'd expect from a podcast, where you just kind of sit down and just talk. If I have any sort of blatant mess ups or sneezes or whatever, I'm going to cut those out. I actually have a book channel where I talk about books, and on that channel I would also talk about knitting. And so I'm not new to the knitting podcast, like I've done a few of them on that channel, but it was so confusing, I think, to my followers because some videos would be about books, some would be about knitting, some people only liked books, some people only liked knitting, so I thought I needed to kind of separate the two. So that is where I'm at, starting this whole new channel. I need to figure out how to start a new channel on YouTube, but I thought I'd go ahead and just film the video first. So let me talk a little bit, I guess, about how I got into knitting and kind of my journey with that. So like I said, I have been crocheting. I love crocheting. I love any sort of fiber arts and making and crafting. I love all sort of creative endeavors. That's what I've been doing my whole life. Painting. I played the piano. I was a piano teacher. I love doing anything with my hands and any sort of creative. I'm a very creative person. So crocheting has been really fun, and then knitting. So my daughter's birth was quite traumatic. I actually filmed a video on my old channel talking all about it. But yeah, my daughter's birth was quite traumatic. Just in a nutshell, she came early. She was in the NICU for 2 weeks. And then during that time, my husband was really sick at home, so he wasn't able to come. And my doctor met me late at night and told me that I had cancer. So it was a lot at once, and I started kind of, I wouldn't say spiraling, but I definitely had bouts of anxiety and I don't want to say depression because depression is pretty heavy, and I didn't go that deep, but I was very anxious and as to be expected. There was a lot going on, and so during that time I picked up knitting and I wanted to learn how to make socks, which I don't recommend socks as a beginner to learn how to do, but yeah, I wanted to learn to make socks, and so I did. And the first few socks were awful. They were really, really bad, but it was really, really fun for me just to do something with my hands. My daughter was a really bad sleeper, actually for 6 months. We didn't sleep train. So for the first 6 months, she was a really bad sleeper. And then right at 6 months, she slept 12 hours and conquered naps. She's a fabulous sleeper now. But the first 6 months, she was a really bad sleeper. So anytime I was up with her at night, I would knit or crochet, but primarily knit. And then anytime we would drive to my doctor's appointments, and I had a lot of them, I would just knit in the car and knit while I was waiting, and it just really helped me do something with my hands. There was also fear that the cancer had passed on to my daughter during birth. So for 3 months of her life, she also went to her own oncology appointments, and that was really, if you've been there, you know it's really hard for you as a parent. You feel like if it's happening to you, you could handle it. Like, I was going through my own cancer diagnosis and treatment and everything. I didn't have to do chemo, but I was going through a lot, and I could handle it. But knowing that my daughter might have it, I just wanted to take that from her, and I couldn't. Thankfully, she did not have the cancer. It's all a happy ending, a happy story. But during that bubble of 4 or 5 months, it was very, very difficult. So knitting was a very therapeutic endeavor for me, and yeah, that's just kind of how I got into knitting. Hopefully that wasn't too long. Looks like I've been talking for about 6 minutes of how I got into knitting. So if you're still with me, thank you. So let's just continue with this podcast. I have a few works in progress. I have one finished object, and then I'm also going to share with you my future knitting plans between now and the end of the year. So I didn't go through all of my old projects. I have some socks that I have knitted and gifted. Like, I'm not going to talk all about those. I'm just going to talk about very, very current, like past a month or two projects. So let's go ahead and start with the finished object, which I have one here to show, and that is, I just spilled some coffee. We're good. So that is a sock, or a pair of socks. So I have these two. And I just also want to preface this by saying, because I'm a beginner knitter, I'm not going to have the knowledge and the terms that maybe other experienced and professional knitters will have here on YouTube. So I'm going to do my best. If I miss some things, or if I am not clear with patterns or names or whatever, just please excuse me, but I'm going to do my best. So here we have a pair of socks. And the socks that I use are, or the pattern that I use is from the Crazy Sock Lady. That is the sock pattern that I learned. I just saw this little end that it needs to be chopped. So yeah, that's the pattern that I learned how to knit socks with. I started by doing magic loop, and then the past couple of socks, as well as these, have been 9-inch circulars, and now I'm kind of back to the magic loop method. So yes, these were knit on 9-inch circulars. I did a 64 stitch count, a 60 round leg. I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And then just the typical foot and toe. If this will focus, I'm filming this on my phone. I do have a big camera. I was actually a professional photographer for several years. So I do have the equipment, but it's just easy and fast to just edit my phone. So hopefully it works. But yeah, so I use the Barocco Vintage sock yarn. It's a blend of wool, acrylic, and nylon, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so I did not love the yarn. It was not a fun yarn to work with, for me at least. It had like a coating, probably from the wool, and it wasn't very fun for me. But I did it. I powered through, and I finished the socks, and I'm happy that they are done. They are blocked, and I don't know, I haven't tried them on. I made them to fit me, and I might keep them for myself. So far, I haven't kept socks for myself, so I might keep those for me. I think that would be fun. So that is actually it for a finished object. I am a mom. I have a 9-month-old who is extremely active and almost walking, which is crazy. So I don't have as much time to knit. Thankfully, like I had said, she's a good sleeper, so naps, and she goes to sleep at 6 o'clock at night. So during naps and at nighttime, if I don't have anything else to do, then I do have time to knit. But all that to say, I don't have as much time as maybe other people do that aren't kind of in the season of new parenting. But I am very grateful for the time that I do have to knit, and I feel like I do also have more time than maybe someone else because I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't work, which is very wonderful. Although being a mom, being a parent is a full-time job. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling, but let's go ahead and start with a next object. This is kind of a very current work in progress, and it's another pair of socks. hopefully my hair doesn't get into the microphone too much. I'm actually getting my hair cut in 2 days and I'm really excited. I'm going to chop it and do some highlights hopefully. But anyways, here is a sock that I have finished. I finished this just the other day. I started it Friday night and finished it Monday morning, which is the fastest that I've ever knit socks or one sock before ever. Like typically it takes me a week to do one sock, and that's if I'm working on it a lot. What happened this past weekend was I was sick and we took a road trip, so I had a lot of time in the car to knit, and I was sick, and so my husband watched our daughter for a couple of hours so I could just sit in bed and I knit, and it was wonderful. So this is a sock. Clearly you can kind of see on both sides where I switched the needle, and I have kind of a ladder going, which wasn't very fun, and truthfully I didn't notice till the sock was finished. It has not been blocked. I don't think that blocking will make a huge difference. When I would switch the needles, my tension, I believe, was a little bit loose, and I think that is why. But this yarn I have here, it is a tie-dye sock yarn. I started the second one. Been working on that just a little bit. And I did have a tag, but I did throw the tag away. But I got this at a not local, it's a yarn store outside of Sedona in Cottonwood. I live in Phoenix. I don't think I've mentioned that, but yes, I live in Phoenix. And there's only one local yarn store around Phoenix, it's in Tempe, and I'm on the west side of Phoenix, so it's a good hour or so of pure Phoenix driving to get to that yarn store. So I very rarely go. I think I've only been twice to that yarn store. But anyways, while we were traveling up to Flagstaff this past weekend, which was the road trip we were doing, we went through Sedona, but we stopped in Cottonwood to go to this yarn store. It's called Sedona Knitwits. And I got 2 things of yarn. They were in this clearance bin, $5 each. So I got this yarn for $5. I think it was normally like $20, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% superwash wool. But it's really fun, and I loved how it worked up. And yeah, so I started the other one as well. That's just kind of my knitting here and there. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on me to finish it as quickly as I did the first one. And then the second yarn that I got at that store is this one, and this had no tag on it. Let's see, there we go, it'll focus. No tag, and it was also $5, but it feels, I'm like 98% sure it's a fingering weight, and I'm pretty sure it's a wool blend, or at least 100% superwash wool. Let's see if it'll focus back. But I just thought it was really, really, really fun, and I loved the kind of taupey with a mix of some colors in there, and I think this will be a really pretty sock as well. So I hopefully will work on this this fall and make some socks with this one. It feels like a superwash wool, so I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'd imagine that's what it was. So yeah, so that's what I got at that yarn store. So that was really fun to go in. The owner there was lovely, just very, very sweet, and just fun to chat with. So let's talk about another project that I'm working on. And this is a crochet object. This is a crochet cardigan. And I was scrolling through Pinterest. This actually is one that I started recently, this past month or so. I was scrolling through Pinterest. I'm trying to straighten it out somehow. But anyways, I was scrolling through Pinterest and I came across this pattern. It's by MJ's Off the Hook Design. I'm pretty sure she has a ton of really beautiful crochet patterns, a lot of kind of granny square. I have like tangled this up somehow. I think that's okay. This is how it goes. Okay, but she had this cardigan pattern and it was really, really pretty, and so I decided to cast it on and start working on it. And I had a whole bunch of this green yarn. It's Lion Brand's Pound of Love and a green color, and I had it in my stash for like probably close to a year, I would imagine. And I just didn't really know what to do with it, so I decided to make a green cardigan just to kind of shop my stash, if you will. So yeah, this is just constructed of basically a granny square cardigan. It is a raglan style top down, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I am using a 5mm hook. This is one from Clover. I don't know if it will focus, but it's just a basic hook that I got probably at Michael's, and that has been fun. I have not been working on it super recently, but I think that will be fun to finish hopefully this season so I can wear it. In Phoenix, it is hot, and then it is hot. So we are just escaping the hot. It has been over 110 for like months. It has been really hot this summer. So the mornings are actually starting to be like in the 80s, which is wonderful. But all that to say, the season of kind of cool weather is maybe October, end of October to March. And so I do want to finish that cardigan. I have a sweater I will show you in a minute that I'd also like to finish just so I can wear it this season. So let me actually show you that sweater. Let me take some coffee. So with knitting, like I said, I am a beginner knitter. I have only finished one garment. I made a t-shirt, and it was really fun. I made a ton of mistakes, but I had a lot of fun working on it, and so I knew I wanted to make another garment, and so I found this pattern for a top-down sweater, and this is what I have so far. I did not do a gauge swatch. I have not tried it on, so wish me luck that it fits and that it works. But for me, I'm a process knitter. I love the act of knitting, and I also love finishing objects. I'm also kind of a monogamous knitter. I have started a few projects, but I like to finish. I kind of start a few, and then I just kind of laser in and I focus and finish the projects. It kind of seems how my knitting is going. So I am focusing on those tie-dye socks, and then also another object that I will show you. But this is what I have so far. I am loving the color. I actually haven't looked at this in a long time. I started this probably a couple of months ago, and I'm on the body. I just started the body, so all I have to do is just knit in the round, and for however long that I want. I think it's like 9 or maybe even 11 inches in length from the end of the armhole. So I do have a lot to go, but it's just potato chip knitting, as they say. But it is so soft, and I actually forgot all about it, so I need to work on it. One thing that I remember now why I haven't loved it is because the fibers from the mohair kind of get everywhere, and they're kind of irritating. So this is the first time that I've worked with a mohair. It's a mohair blend. So I ordered this yarn from Hobby, and this is actually the current one. I brought two new ones to show with the tags on it. So yeah, I got this from Hobby or Hobie. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So I do have, they're both fingering weight. I do have a merino wool. This is kind of the, see if it'll focus, main color. And then the mohair blend, it's actually acrylic mohair and polyamide, is that how you pronounce it? And it is this color. I actually thought that I ordered the cream color of mohair, so when I saw that it was more gray, I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted a very pure kind of creamy sweater, so I wasn't sure how these two would work up, but I do enjoy the color of this. It kind of is like an oatmeal color, so not as creamy, but it is more oatmeal, and it is so soft and squishy. I forgot, like, I haven't touched this in like a couple of months. I need to finish this. So let me show you, before I forget, what pattern it is. Again, I found this on Pinterest, and I printed off the current patterns. My husband actually got me a new iPad for my birthday this year. Birthday was this past August. And so future projects like my granny square cardigan, the pattern is on my iPad, which is wonderful. But prior to that, I would print off the patterns. So that sweater is called Calliope. It is by Melissa Clolo. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a paid for pattern. I'm pretty sure I paid for it. I could be totally wrong, but this is just the introduction page, so it doesn't show anything about it. But this is, let's see if it'll focus, but this is the Calliope and just kind of this top down raglan style sweater. And super easy. This is a great beginner pattern, and especially for me who's a beginner, especially with garment knitting. So it has been very, very simple. The t-shirt that I had made, I'm staring at a basket of laundry, and I think it's at the bottom, which is probably not very good for a hand knit items, but I think it's in that basket, so I'm not gonna dig through it. That's a project for another day. But I made a lot of mistakes on that t-shirt, but it was a great pattern to start with because it helped me learn how to do a raglan and a yoke, and there's just a lot of techniques that I was able to learn with that t-shirt. Even though the t-shirt turned out pretty bad, I learned, what not to do or what to do next time, and so that helped for this sweater. So yeah, so that was really fun. I do have just the body and then the sleeves to do, and it's just very, very simple in the round knitting, which I pretty much want. I don't like just having to think about patterns. That's why all of my socks typically always, actually not typically always, are very just vanilla sock, one color yarn. Like I don't do any patterns or changing the cuffs or anything like that. I just keep it very, very simple because I am not in a season of my life to just really focus on and learn different things. I like doing easy things. So, okay, then let's talk about another work in progress, and that is just a very, very simple knitted blanket. So here it is. I'm kind of tangled up in yarn down here, but this is what I've got so far. I started this just the other day. This is just a very, very simple garter stitch. This is going to be kind of a baby blanket. It is for my daughter, and this is just acrylic yarn. It is Lion Brand's Pound of Love. I have 2 of these. Again, same thing. I have been sitting in my stash. I didn't really know what to do with it, and I decided to make a blanket for my daughter, which segues into the fall knitting plans. So my daughter's birthday is the 1st of December. She's going to be 1, which is insane how fast that time has gone. It's insane. Anyways, I've decided every year on her birthday, I'm going to make her a sweater, and I'm really, really excited for that one. And then I decided to also make her a blanket, and I don't know if I'm going to give her the blanket on her birthday with a sweater or save it for Christmas at the end of December. So I haven't decided yet, but I thought for sure every year I wanted to make her a sweater and then potentially a blanket. So I went ahead and just cast on the blanket just because it is just a garter stitch blanket. Like there's going to be nothing special about it. So that is the first project, and then the second one, her sweater, is another very, very simple pattern. This is a free pattern, but anytime I go to look for it, I cannot find it anywhere. So I am so glad that I printed it out. But it is by Yarnspirations, and let me see. Here it is. And it was a free pattern, so I don't feel bad showing this. But this is what the sweater is going to look like. It's just kind of this big boxy sweater made with baby velvet yarn, and I am so excited. I don't think that's going to take me all that long to make because it's going to be so small, and it's just a very, very simple in the round pattern. So yeah, I don't think it's going to take me very long to make it, but I'm so excited. And I ordered the yarn. It's still in the package. It just came in the other day, and I just got this really pretty pinky color. Let me go ahead and open up the package. So excuse the noises, but oh, it's so pretty, so soft. This is in the shade Pink Mist. So this is the yarn. I think that it is just so beautiful, and I think according to the pattern you only need one of these for the whole sweater, but it came in a pack of 3, so just in case I need more than one, I'm going to make her the 18-month, I'm pretty sure, because I'm going to go down a needle size because I don't have all the needle sizes that it's recommending. It recommends 4.5 in a 16-inch circular, and I just have the 4mm in a 16-inch circular. So I'm gonna go up a size, and hopefully it turns out. It's gonna be kind of experimenting, but hopefully it ends up being just a tad bigger so she can end up wearing it. Ava is right about 50%, the 50th percentile. She's just right in the middle, very average. She is 9 months. She can still wear 6-month clothes. She has some 3 to 6 month leggings that she wears. They are short on her, but they fit her. So I think that this sweater will probably fit her for a while. So I am so excited to make that one. I think that one is just going to be so fun. So I also, if I have time, would like to make her maybe like a cute little bucket hat or a beanie or something, just because it does get chilly enough for hats here in Phoenix. So I thought that would be fun, just to kind of make her a lot of fun things for her birthday or Christmas, since they are both so close together. I had gotten this yarn as well. I wasn't sure if I was going to make her sweater out of this one or out of the velvet, and actually, because it's both the same weight, I have 3 or maybe 2 of these. Maybe I'll make her 2 sweaters. I don't know, just so she has the velvet and just regular acrylic. Yeah, I'm not sure which one that I will do, or if I make her bucket hats and beanies out of this one. But I also have a lot of just plain white acrylic, so I might make her something with that. But it's just so much fun having a daughter, but it's so much fun having all these fun projects to make, and knowing that they're, for a tiny little person, it won't take as long and it's not as daunting. So between now and December, I have a blanket to make, I have socks to finish, I have a sweater to finish for me, hopefully. I have my daughter's sweater and maybe hats and beanies. So I do have a lot of projects to make between now and December. So wish me luck. I will keep you posted with any project that I am working on and hopefully able to finish. But yeah, those are my future knitting plans. Those are the things that I am currently working on. I do have a lot of yarn that I have slowly acquired, but I'm probably not going to show you. I have a couple that are, I do have a couple sitting up here that I'll show you. These are all just from Hobby Lobby, just their superwash wool fingering weight yarn that will eventually be socks. I love socks, and yarn is very expensive, and so any sort of fingering weight object that's not socks require a bit, and it's just not in the cards, you know, for me to make a fingering weight object that's not a sock. So anytime I find really, really cute, pretty yarns that you know is fingering weight, I get them for socks, and I only just get one of each. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so I have a lot of single skein sock yarns, and yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end of this first podcast. It was a little bit chaotic, maybe a little bit all over the place, a lot of random things kind of mixed in. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun sitting down and just talking about knitting. I don't have any knitters in my life. My sister crochets. She's actually the one who taught me how to crochet, so she's a fun person to talk to about crocheting, but I don't have anyone else who knits. And I talked to my husband so much about knitting, and he's so sweet and so supportive, but he just doesn't quite get it. So it's nice having a community to kind of talk about knitting, and I'm just really excited for this. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if there's something that I missed. I will try to keep links down in the description box of anything that I mentioned. But if not, just bear with me, especially as I'm starting this whole new channel endeavor about knitting, and I have really sensitive skin, so anytime I touch my skin it just turns red, so I'm sorry. But I hope that you enjoyed watching this. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Comment down below if you are also a knitter. Let me know what you are currently working on, if you have any fall knitting plans or fall knitting items that you are currently working on or want to make, or let me know if you are going to be doing some gift knitting for Christmas this year. I would love to do that. I am obviously going to be doing that for my daughter, but I just don't know that I will have the time to do anything additional for anyone else. But if you are, let me know what you are making. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you hopefully soon. Oh, I forgot to tell you my vision for this channel. So real quick, if you are still here, thanks for watching. I want to do knitting podcasts, so like this style where I sit down and just talk about knitting. But I also want to do kind of knitting vlogs, like daily, day in the life sort of vlogs with a knitting, crafting sort of focus. And so I probably will alternate between a podcast and a vlog. So that's kind of what you can expect. I'm not going to put any sort of concrete plan or schedule in place just because I can't. So make sure you do subscribe so you know when I post new content. Okay, that is officially it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.